So on the night of the 5th of May 2001, I was pretty damn sick in bed and I went to sleep. I woke up at about 2 o'clock in the morning of the 6th of May. I actually did get to the toilet, but I know for a fact I did not bang on the wall to
Right.
wake him up.
Right.
I know I wasn't capable of.
Mm.
I was sitting there on the toilet and I went to sleep.
Right.
In my lifetime of our reality now,
Mm-hmm.
I woke up 9 days later after being in ICU for 9 days.
Right.
But what happened after I went to sleep, next thing I know is that I'm floating near the ceiling. So I'm up, my head's nearly on the roof, in the lounge room.
Wow.
I'm watching the paramedics come through. They're all having this little powwow in the lounge room,
Right.
and I'm just sitting there observing it all. So I'm hearing what they're saying, what they're writing on their clipboards.
Mm-hmm.
I saw their name badges. My body was still in the ensuite in the
Right.
toilet.
Right.
So I saw them wheel me out. I wasn't scared. I wasn't. Um, there was no fear
No.
at all. I was just happy to watch. I
Yeah.
was at peace.
Yeah.
It was really peaceful. So a lot of people do talk about when they're floating
Yeah.
in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing that for about half an hour. Because of the events that were unfolding in front of me until they actually wheeled me out. Then after they all left, my husband also left to go to the hospital as well. The door shut and he turned off all the lights.
Right.
So I'm still there floating,
Mm-hmm.
and then the front door opens just in front of me, and these things come through the door.
Wow.
Um, I can't call them orbs because, we call orbs like those white
Mm-hmm.
energy balls.
Yeah.
These things weren't white, they were dark blue. Just trying to find something around my house. No, nothing here blue. And I wear red, as you can tell. But they were very dark blue.
Right.
But they were see-through. And in the middle of them, there was like a white energy.
Right.
Pure, pure bright, but it didn't hurt my eyes. And they came in like doing this type of thing, but there was about 15 of them.
Right.
And they came around me. They were hovering around me. Some of them were about this big.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were about this big. I could see through them.
Right.
They were doing like this, like sparklers
Yeah.
that you buy and you light the end and it does
Yeah.
this sparkle
Yeah.
thing. But they didn't have those end things
No.
that we
No.
get on a sparkler. They were just like this.
Yeah.
So they hovered around me for, about 5 minutes. No communication at all, but I think they were communicating with each other.
Right.
Then they all just floated out of the door and the door shut again.
Would they?
Now,
Sorry. Were they very similar to in the movie Ghost when they took Patrick Swayze character away? Was it that type of thing?
I'd say yes,
Right.
but they were intelligent.
Yeah.
These ones, because of the way that they were hovering and moving, like maneuvering around each other, they knew there was a consciousness,
Yeah.
there was communication between them.
Right.
So they weren't just all going in like one line. They were all like moving around me at different times, and I'm like, whoa, but I wasn't scared of them.
No.
You know, if you close your eyes, that's what it was. It was just like I closed my eyes,
Right.
and then when I opened my eyes again, I'm in heaven.
Wow.
I went,
Wonderful.
but my body didn't physically move, but I was like transported or teleported. It's just like you blink, and when you open your eyes, you're standing on the top of one of the pyramids in Giza. It was that sort of,
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
there was no motion involved with the transport. I stayed up there for probably about 5 years. I did my life review.
Right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Was it pure intention that you went from place to place? Was you conscious of intention?
No, I had no knowledge at all where I was going next.
Okay.
Um, so, like, when I went to sleep on the toilet, I didn't think, oh, maybe I should float in the room now.
Right.
It was just there,
Yeah.
okay? So when I woke up, sorry, I'm floating in the ceiling, near the ceiling. Then I'm in heaven, um, and this lady came up to me, who I'm pretty sure is this woman who stands to my left, which is a totally different story, by the way. Um, we should just do an episode on her because I've actually drawn some pictures of her because I've got she's the one who talks to me every day.
Right.
Um, so she said, "Oh no, you can come back here, but you've got to go over there first." So it was like a blink where you close your eyes, and then when I opened my eyes again, I'm in this. I wouldn't say it's a cathedral, but I try and explain it. If you can imagine a plank of wood, like when they cut trees now, you know how you get a
Yeah.
plank of wood about this
Yeah.
long and it might be 10 foot long?
Yeah.
Imagine a plank that this width
Yeah.
is as wide as a room.
Right.
The length would be 300 feet long.
Wow.
So the trees to make these planks would have been 1,000 foot tall.
Right.
You know, we can't fathom it here because we chop down trees every 20 odd years or whatever. Um, but then the wood is melded into sandstones, quartzes as well.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm in this room and I'm admiring all this magnificent tree, like planks of wood with all these, like we're talking sandstones. It's not a tile like this big. They're as big as this room that I'm in now, my
Right.
dining room.
Huh.
Um, so then I look up and there's these three in front of me. Um, in the Bible, they say Father, Son, the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Um, the three.
Yeah.
So I call them the three.
Yeah.
One would have been about 15 feet tall.
Wow.
The other two on his left and right,
Mm-hmm.
well, I call them him, but I don't know what sex they were, if they had a sex. But there was two that were about 12 foot tall. You could make out the head, but there was no features. It was just pure energy rotating.
Right.
I could make shoulders out, and so it sort of went around the head. You could see shoulders,
Yeah.
and then it came down. And it was all like vortexing energy. So I'm looking at these three thinking, oh my gosh, who are these? Am I in trouble? I actually felt to myself, am I in trouble? Am I going back to the principal's office? And then they didn't, because they didn't have fingers to point, but I was made aware of this big box in front of them.
Right.
I call it the Ark of the Covenant.
Right.
If you can imagine the Ark of the Covenant,
Yeah.
like magnificence, with
Yeah.
all the carvings and everything.
Yeah.
So I look into this box, and inside there's no walls or floor. It's eternal. Once you look into it,
Right.
it's eternal. There's no walls or capacity within a space inside it. Inside, though, there was all these like bubbles about this big.
Right.
And each one of them had like a little TV screen with a memory of everything I'd ever done. So,
Wow.
when I died, I was about 35. So if you can imagine every second of your life having one of these bubbles, so you can imagine the infinite amount of bubbles in there,
Yeah.
They say the good die young for a reason because you don't have so many bubbles in there. So I picked one of these up, and it was a memory of me being in my grandmother's front yard when I would have been about 3. And my grandmother had a white cat that I used to pull its tail, this big Persian white fluffy cat. And I used to sit there. Like, I sort of remember it now because I saw it in this box of memories. So I've got this memory where I'm pulling the cat's tail, and instantly I'm filled with the pain the cat felt.
Wow.
Now, this is where we get deep.
Right.
This is where it's very serious.
Yeah.
because it wasn't so much about my emotional joy or sadness of the event that I created. I was now feeling the emotions that I'd caused
Mm.
in the cat.
Right.
So all of a sudden, my butt started to really hurt because that's where her tail would come out,
Right.
right? I got the icky feeling that you get, like "don't touch me,"
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's tenfold. It's tenfold. So the pain was chronic, and I thought, "Oh my God, did I do that to that cat?"
Mm.
I didn't know, a 3-year-old. I didn't know I was hurting this cat so much, you know.
Yeah.
So I put that bubble back in after I thought of, the thought process that went through my head was, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm really sorry.
Right.
This was just my natural reaction to feeling
Hmm.
this pain from this cat. So then I put that down, and then I look inside the bubble, this big box of bubbles, and I pull out this other one of when I'm being kind to somebody.
Right.
And I didn't feel how I felt. I felt how that person felt with me being kind to him. But it was
Wonderful.
tenfold. Now, this is the Bible here talking,
Right.
the tenfold effect of our emotions.
Right.
So all of a sudden, I'm filled with this absolute overwhelming joy and compassion
Yeah.
of having someone just be kind to them. So I put the bubble back in there and I thought, I was nearly crying, and
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
looking at these big three, like, energy entities in front of me, and there was no words said at all. But I think the only reason why I was there looking at my bubbles, because that's what I call them, my bubbles of
Bubbles.
memories, was to fathom what it was. This life review where we have to judge every bubble,
Right.
say sorry for what we've done, or be gracious for the good that we've done
Right.
by the grace of God. So, yeah, we go back to biblical terms
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
The grace of God is tenfold. If we're kind to another person, when we go home and do that life review, we feel that tenfold, but it's from their perspective.
Right. Okay, so I must apologise first of all for the audio problems there. Apparently, people couldn't hear me as I was introducing Dr. Lynda there. But anyway, if you want to know more about her, you can go to her Facebook page as well, which is Dr. Lynda Kramer Paranormal. That's Dr. Lynda Kramer Paranormal, and you can see what she gets up to there. She does lots of stuff, as I say, walks in cemeteries. She does a lot of work where she looks at the energy of a building and so on and so forth. So also go to my YouTube channel and you will see the complete interview of the rest of the stuff we got through there. So I just want to bring someone through from the spirit world right now who's been prompting me, saying it's time that I do this. And this is a guy, I want to go back. He's given me really much a memory link here because he goes back to when he was working along the railway tracks, and he shows me very clearly the clothes he's wearing, and he wears the hat and he wears the scarf around here. He's doing some work on a railway track. Now, this man also originally came from, it looks like Central Europe. It feels like it's Yugoslavia, the old Yugoslavia. And I'm going back to the early part of the last century. He gives me the name that sounds like Zach or Zachary, but it really sounded like Zach that came through there. And the family immigrated. I think they went to Canada, or it's certainly North America. So it's certainly in the northern part of the States where this family went to. And actually, he wants to connect with somebody that sounds like Carla. It could be Clara, but it sounds like Carla. And I think this might be his granddaughter. and she'd be heading up in years now as well, because this was a memory link that he wanted to bring. As you can hear, my throat is beginning to change as this person comes through. He's coming through a lot clearer now. And so when he passed, he had a lung condition, and his lungs were completely full. I think it was because of the work and the smog and everything else that he had to breathe in order to do his work. I feel there was something around coal with him on the railway track, so I feel that he might have been somebody that had to fill the trains up with coal or something in and around this, because he has shown me this thing now. There's something quite important about the number 27. It could be 1927, but it's certainly the number 27 is quite important to him or to whoever this message is for. So if you're listening to this in replay, it'll give you a little bit more time to gather the information you need to make it make sense. What else does he want to come through with? Okay, he also had one brother, it appears, and this brother died very young. He died in the war, and he just wants to bring this through to try and offer some further supporting evidence of who we actually do have here with us. And I want to see if there's anything else that comes through here with this person. Well, he has stepped back a little bit now, but okay, so thank you. He does bring in a lady that's younger than him. This could well have been his daughter, or could it have been his daughter? Let's have a look. Yes, I believe, thank you. I do believe this is his daughter that he wants to either mention or was brought. It's very, very strange here what he's doing here. I'm going to ask him for more clarity. Okay, his daughter is on the other side as well, and so I think for this Carla or Clara person, this is the mother that he wants to bring forward as well. So it appears that she really didn't believe in this type of thing much before she passed. She felt as though she could have been quite a hard lady, but this was through circumstance and not through just being hard for the sake of being hard. She ended up with arthritis, as I find my hands becoming very stiff right now. And I feel that yeah, she probably went on in years here. I mean, she lived to an old age here, and she also liked floral dresses, because she shows me in a floral dress. Okay, let's see. Okay, and she wants it to be known that she was buried with a casket that you could see the face. So they just show me a casket with the glass where the face would be. She wants this to be known also. I just want to give one more bit of information before we move on, because I think I've got someone else coming through here also right now. No, okay, I'm going to leave her there and step back. So just to recap, this was somebody that came through with the name of Zach. He worked along the railway lines. He had a lung condition when he passed. I feel his lungs were all blocked up. This was due to inhalation of smoke and God knows what else, and there was an element of coal around him, so he was probably the person that would shovel the coal onto the trains. And then he brought through which looks like his daughter, and this is for someone called Carla, or yeah, Carla, or I can't remember the other name, so it must be Carla. Anyway, okay, so let's see who else we got stepping forward here right now. And it's quite funny, as soon as I said that, this person said stepping out of the shadows. So this was, okay, so thank you. This is somebody now that always kept themselves to themselves on the earth plane. They never wanted to mix much. They preferred to stay at home. This is I feel this is a man that I've got here. He was quite small, actually. Yes, quite tiny by men's standards, and he wore little round glasses. He seemed to be quite an intelligent person. Again, this man goes back many years, many years. I think he was born around about the turn of the last century also, and reached, I don't know, to about 90 it feels like. So he probably passed around about 1990, so he's been over for almost 30 years. Self-taught, thank you. He was self-taught, this man. He didn't have an education, and he also left his homeland to immigrate to find a better life for himself and his family, who he brought over with him. Okay. Why does he want to come through? And let's see what he wants to say. Okay. Well, it's somebody with the letter P. Again, it's a name I haven't heard of. I'm not familiar with. It sounded like Petra. So I don't know if this is a boy or a girl that it's coming through. But this is who he wants to give a message to. I just want to tell you how he passed. He had a throat condition also. He also used to bring up, well, it wasn't catarrh. It wasn't that. I think towards the end he was bringing up blood, actually. That's what they're giving me the feeling of. So there was something terribly wrong all the way down here. And I think probably today they would have prevented this. He had this all his life, it seems, and it just got worse and worse. So I thank you. Okay, so this is a question. This is something for Petra, and this is to do with health issues also for you. And he wants to emphasize that don't worry, nothing's wrong, but he doesn't want anything to be wrong, because he wants you to just take care of yourself just a little bit more, actually. Yes, okay. He speaks about diet. He wants you to eat your correct diet. You've gone off the diet, he says. You've moved away from it and you've started eating junk again. And he wants to give the feeling that he had no option but to eat whatever food he could when he was growing up. He wants to talk about damp conditions as well. He lived in rather damp conditions, and he wants to bring this through because he knows that family have been speaking about this, so you will know exactly who this is. If this is for you, you will know exactly who this is. And so if it is for you, please do leave a comment just to say that you know who this is. Okay, I've got more people coming along, but I'm just going to hang on to those for a minute because I want to get on to the next segment of this show. And this is with Frank Poe. Many years ago, I had the privilege of doing a podcast with Frank G Poe. He claims to be the incarnation of Edgar Allan Poe, the writer. Again, the conversation went on and we digressed. We went all over the place. But I just wanted to play the part of the section where we did speak about his incarnation. I think sadly Frank is no longer with us. I think he's decided to go back home again, and so there's no way I can get in contact with him to have actually done this live for the show. So anyway, so this is Frank G Poe talking about his life as Edgar Allan Poe.
About reincarnation a little later, but first let's backtrack a little and talk about your near-death experience caused by MS. Typically, near-death experiences last minutes, and as you say, featuring this cliche bright light at the end of the dark tunnel. So could you share with us what you discovered on the other side that was so different to other death experiences?
My experience on the other side came from jarring my memory about the other side. It's actually, it's memory that I jarred. I was in a near-death state for almost 3 weeks because of swelling on the brain. Mm. And these actually are memories from the other side, planning this trip here, actually.
Wow. And was that something, because quite often on the other side, I am told that, we'll say one day on this earth plane is something like 360 days on the other side. So was there a lot going through your mind at this time within this 3-week period?
Yes, there was, actually. The concept of time on this side isn't really the same on the other side whatsoever. It's an eternity over there, and we have the ability on that side to actually travel through time forward and backwards. So it's not the same over there at all.
Oh, wow. So once we cross over, what other experiences can we expect with regards to life form, for example? Do we see or meet our guardian angels, doorkeepers, or dare I say it, do we see alien life forms or even elf type of forms? Is this something like our mind opens up, this expansion happens, and we readily accept what we see?
As soon as we get to the other side, once we actually cross over to the other side, everybody gets clarity. You understand everything. It's not like you are on this side. I explained in my first book, when we are born, we're confused, intentionally confused, because we're not supposed to. What I did is unusual. Jarring my memory about the other side, it's unusual for being here because we're not supposed to know about anything on the other side when we get here. I guess it would ruin the experience. And I talk more about why we're here. I believe we're here for the experiences across the universe. I talk about the Creator created everything, and that includes there are aliens out there. I know. I get enough ridicule about saying I'm the reincarnation of Edgar Allan Poe. But the fact of the matter is there are aliens out there, and we have an opportunity on the other side to actually jump into their existence, just like we can jump. Nobody's here. Life is what you would say private. Right. Everything we do is like almost like a video recorder, for lack of a better word. Everything we do, sight, sound, taste, touch, it's all part of our consciousness. It's recorded. And on the other side, we can actually jump into anybody that we want to's existence, and we can live their entire life out if we want to, or we can just jump into parts of it and jump back out. Same goes for alien life forms on other planets. We can jump into their experiences too and jump out the same way. When I get into the discussion about reincarnation, one of the things I'm always asked about is, well, why is everybody who goes back, they talk about past life, everybody couldn't have been Napoleon or Cleopatra. And the fact of the matter is, if they're an interesting enough person, it makes sense on the other side. People would check it, just like you would check out a good book or you would check out a good movie. People might check out somebody's life in the same aspect. So, yeah, it's very possible that they may have memories of a life that was someone else's. They may not have to have been the famous person on this side.
Now, a lot of people are going to ask, as you just pointed out, there are hundreds of people who believe they are the reincarnation of famous people, and a lot of people will say, well, Frank, you're a crazy man. How do you respond to these comments? Because a lot of people will ask for supporting evidence of reincarnation, and I'm sure this question has been asked to you many, many, many times. How do you respond to that?
Well, first of all, if I would have wanted to say I was somebody famous, I would probably pick somebody a little bit cooler than Edgar Allan Poe. Would have been somebody like Jim Morrison or somebody who had a good time, you know.
Sure.
Rudolph Valentino, somebody like that.
Right. But sorry, continue.
Go ahead.
No, please.
I was going to say I came back for a purpose this time. I don't plan on actually coming back again after this, so I'm going to enjoy the rest of my time here this time, and I don't plan on coming back. It was my ego, as my life of Edgar Allan Poe. I was said I died from a lot of unflattering things, like syphilis for one, drug addict, alcoholic. And the fact of the matter is, I died of multiple sclerosis.
Right.
And the same type of an attack that I had this time in this life. In fact, that was part of the plan, was to have that attack so I could actually jar my memory to remember why I came here. And that was basically to clear the name, to try to fix my ego, my bruised ego about that. And I actually tried to avoid the whole reincarnation question and the ridicule that went along with that by saying, I try to approach publishers saying Edgar Allan Poe died of multiple sclerosis, not drug addiction or alcoholism or you name it. Even a government conspiracy was one of the things.
Wow. Yeah.
And none of the book publishers were interested in another theory about how Edgar Allan Poe died. So I had no other way of clearing my name at that point other than to go ahead and write a book to prove I was him. And I've been compared to him, but none of the reviewers would actually come out and say I was him for obvious reasons.
Right.
But I came out in that first book and in the introduction explained that I was the Edgar Allan Poe in a past life, and then I died of multiple sclerosis similar to the same way I did in this one.
Right.
And in Star Child, the introduction, I basically give some more information about the other side that I promised in the first book, because that book served a purpose. I wanted to get the information out about Edgar Allan Poe and his cause of death. And in the next book, I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about the afterlife and give some people some information. And that's basically where I want to leave it as far as the afterlife goes. Once I go into do my next book, I'm not going to talk about any of this stuff again.
Is there a time difference in respect of once you pass, you need to, before you can reincarnate, you need to stay over the other side for a period of time, or can it be almost immediately?
It can be. I actually remember the life that I had before I came back this time, and I died in 65.
Right.
In 65. And I died in the Vietnam War. I was in the what you would call the air cav.
Yeah.
And I remember my death. And I came back fairly quick. Most people don't come back this quickly. I came back quickly this time. I've actually came back. The life I had before that was actually in World War II, where I also died. I mentioned both of those lives in the book. But some people put a lot of time between their reincarnation. Some people never come here. Right. The whole time that they're so we do have what you would call, I would say, new people showing up every day who this is their first trip here. Right.
Now, your book, Raven Wings and 13 More Twisted Tales, I think you may have answered it already. I just wanted to recap. Was this written by Frank G. Poe, or was there the guiding hand of Edgar Allan Poe?
I consider myself one and the same. So
right. Yeah. Yeah.
I wrote it. I think I have the same writing style as I have in the past. I've evolved a little bit because when I was Edgar Allan Poe, you couldn't write some things at that time that would have been considered too obscene. In fact, some of the stuff I write now is actually too explicit for some markets. So.
Okay, so that was my conversation with Frank G. Poe. So look, I've got somebody else stepping forward in spirit now. I know this is going to be a very short one, but I feel that his name is Steve or Stephen, and it's not for Steve or Stephen. This is a young man, I would say no more than 30 years of age, 26, 27 years of age, and he passed in an accident, in a climbing accident. So he used to climb, or I don't think it was rock climbing or excavating the rocks. I think it was really just power walking and on very, very dangerous thin ground, and slipped and went over, and that was the end of it. So it was a very quick thing for him. His name was Stephen. When he was on the earth plane, he comes through, and I want to just find out why. As we do this, he kind of brings me to the attention of my ring. So I think he was about to be married also before this passing happened. He shows me the ring. I had a situation yesterday actually where I was asked to take the ring off, and I thought, oh, well, this is a bit odd, because quite honestly, quite happens is that when the ring comes off, it normally means separation. It's a divorce or something like this. But in this case yesterday, it was because the person couldn't keep the ring on because of an accident they had with their hands. But today they show me the ring, and this was to do with a marriage that was going to take place and sadly will no longer take place. He doesn't give the name of the girl that he was with. I think this was a very private person, and this is why he doesn't want to do this. But I know the message. Oh, okay. And I think this happened this was about 18 months ago. This accident happened, and the message that comes through is that you should now start to make moves to get on with your life. Yeah, short, sweet, and simple. So okay, yeah, he steps back now. I think he just wanted to come through and just give that information, so whoever that's for, you'll know exactly who that is.
Welcome to the magical world of medium Mike Cavalli. The book Proof of Survival, an evidential guide to mediumship, is now available at the usual outlets including Amazon and Lulu. Learn the techniques of mediumship that can connect you with a loved one in spirit. Mike is available to teach you these techniques online, privately, or in a group. One-to-one readings and/or distant healing is available by appointment. Message Mike on Facebook at Medium Mike Cavalli.
Okay, so now let's come to the final part of this show today, where we're going to be looking at this bit of channeling that I did. My technique for channeling is channeled writing, so I don't sit there in trance and just come through with it. It's a bit more than automatic writing. It just comes through, and I can feel the presence of the energy that's writing this. I can feel the presence of this person, which I loosely call the person coming through right now, as I have no doubt that he, she, or whatever this life form is, because it is really quite an old soul here, very, very, very advanced, of many years. So they'd like, I guess, to come forward and actually narrate the text that they wrote. So this channel today is about false gods, idolizing false gods. So let's begin. Welcome everybody, and today I'd like to cast over you some thoughts about worshipping false idols or gods. Please notice the words that I use to phrase this opening sequence. I use the term cast over you. The phrase is said with the desire to plant the seed in your minds that should you continue to worship or idolize false gods, to include those that you bear witness to on your TV programmings, then you will not only be assisting in creating an energy that does allow for the darker side of life to penetrate onto the earth plane, but you also alter the energy around you. So let us for a moment talk about the personal consequences for you. We have spoken before about the power of words, and I will not go into too much detail here, but suffice to say that when you add up emotional words, which are in other words feelings, then you bring into your reality the energy of the person that you idolize or think is special. Now in the short term this does not do any harm, but you ought to be aware that for this energy you have brought into your environment needs to be cleansed. It needs to be dissolved or transformed into the love energy. Allow me to impart upon you some words that will help you understand how you can tell if you have the energy with you. Should you, for example, be watching one of your television programmings and find yourself repeating the same phrase or two from that program, then be sure you are absorbing the energy. This changes the perception and can alter your course in life. Of course, it takes more than one scenario to make big changes. We have been watching you, and many of you pass your time doing this, watching programs after programs. I invite you to take notice of this word, because you are actually reprogramming your whole thought process and changing your energy and shifting your personality. This leads to another question many of you will ask yourselves: how is it I cannot achieve? What am I doing wrong? The obvious answer is that you are not living your true authentic self. You have been over many years reprogramming your mind and slowly shifting your energy field to that of other people. But you say many successful people do exactly the same as me. You cannot be correct in your assumption. There are naturally many reasons for success, and one needs to be more specific when defining success. However, these successful people are indeed living their true authentic self, good or bad. I shall leave it to you to determine what you deem as success. But everything comes with a price on the earth plane. I started by saying that the worship of celebrities and others affect your energy field. But can you see what else is happening around you? Do you not recognize the hysteria that is created by your idolizing celebrity? Just look at how that combined energy creates a new outcome in society. Our hope is that you will see sufficiently clear to realize that you are creating a dark energy on the earth plane, and you are the creators of this life. Think about this, my brothers and sisters. You are creators not only of your own reality, but you have created a new life in the form of a low vibrational energy, and it needs feeding. It begins to have its own consciousness, and it looks to match its frequency. Exactly the same process is created when manifesting something from a high vibration. It goes out to find the perfect vibrational match and brings it back to you. So we would like to see you enjoy your life from a high vibration. We'd like to see you excel and create energy from a high vibration. So I would like you to see that celebrity in itself is an energy. The word celebrity is an energy, and it also has many years of programming from people whose energy you know absolutely nothing of. Please learn to differentiate between the public face of the servant and the private life of the servant. Now, it is perfectly fine to enjoy a program and or musicians. It is perfectly fine to sing along, dance, be joyful, be happy. Applaud the artist, honour him or her. This is only correct and a generous act to make, but here is where it should end. But to do this is to honour art and the artist for the work presented. In reality, you should not carry the energy further. It is essential to remove the creator from the pleasure of art form and focus on the art form solely. For here also you will be attracting their energy, but it will not be so penetrating as if you become hysterical for the love of the artist. I repeat, you know nothing of their private life and the energy they carry. With practice, you can learn to decode the good from the bad, and learning to read energy would also be a fine attribute to carry you through the short term on the earth plane. The question is asked, what about good energy from good people that I admire? Let us for one moment assume that the person or persons you are referring to are good people. The problem we face is that everyone is energetically on a high vibration with all situations throughout their day, week, month or life. The term good is very much a generic term and is used as a blanket to express good energy or bad energy. There is a lot of in between. So, assuming you are referring to someone who with generally a good energy, then if you absorb their energy fast, you run the risk of the energies not matching, and so nothing synchronizes. You begin to lose your authentic self as energetic chaos ensues. To understand this in simple terms, let us look at the Christ energy. Your perception that is of him being the Son of God, the miracle healer, a man that has a pure thoughts, pure high vibrational energy. Now, can you imagine the chaos this would cause should you allow the Christ energy to come into you whole and complete rather quickly? It could actually have the adverse effect and destroy you. This is why we have been saying, for those who are sensitives, who have been receiving the downloads from us, it can be done in small increments. The shift in frequency and energy can be too harmful if presented readily. But I digress. Bringing photographs or pictures into your home of your favourite celebrities is all the transference of energy. You will be bringing their energy into your home, as the photograph will have imprinted in it the subject's energy or the photographer and the handler. Just like your internet, when you send information out to the World Wide Web, you are sending out conscious thoughts. The internet is an extension of your conscious thoughts. And so if you are absorbing the energy of others who have not such a good vibration, then it is attached to you and it will go out with your conscious thoughts also. In fact, everything you see and touch needs to be cleansed from your field. Naturally, your higher self will understand what it needs to keep and what it needs to disperse. So today I sense that I feel that you believe that I've been very harsh with you. So how you view this message certainly does lay out the foundation for your understanding of how life functions on the earth plane. We are, of course, talking about the unseen world that surrounds you and connects you. All of life's energy, nothing dies, it's all transformed, and so we advise for the good of yourself and to all to send out a loving thought to those who have entertained you, a loving thought that will transform any darkness into light. And lest ye not forget, are you not worthy of honouring yourself? We suggest that you focus more attention on honouring the self. When you're in this vibration, you will be able to enjoy the works of others without the emotional attachment, which, though you may not realise, leads to quite a lot of anxiety within you. Until we meet again. So there we are. That was the channeled message, Idolising False Gods. It'd be nice to have a really good debate about all of that. Maybe that's for another time. But anyway, look, I'm going to be back next week with another show. I'm not sure which guests we're going to have on next week. I think Lynda is going to be back, though. I'm pretty sure about that. It's just a question of finding the time because she's on the other side of the world, or I'm on the other side of the world, whatever way you wish to look at this. So all that does is leave me, medium Mike Cavalli, to say thank you for joining me on the show. I look forward to your company next week. In the meantime, it's Saturday. Have a great Saturday and have a great rest of the weekend. This is Mike Cavalli signing off. Bye-bye for now.